What is it like saying goodbye, not just to the show going into the final season, but also to this character that you've played even longer than that?
It's bittersweet in so many ways. I love this particular character, and coming into Better Call Saul from Breaking Bad was always a wonder for me. It was a hesitant moment because I didn't want to repeat anything I'd done before, and I wondered if there was anything new I had to give. After talking to Vince and Peter, and really understanding that the mystery of Gus is a lot about what you don't know about him. I started to think, well, how could I do my interior work given the fact that he's the same guy, but we're at a different time period? So I started to think, oh, I can work the space in between the lines. I can be intense as Gus is without being that caricature, but I could also be more vulnerable and a little bit more hot-headed and a little looser because he's growing to be what we finally know him to become in Breaking Bad. So in that way, it gave me a little more levity and a little more leeway to find new nuance to an old Gus.
That's amazing. So, is there any particular scene that stands out to you from the series as a favorite or just one that you particularly loved filming?
In Better Call Saul, the scenes are those that you have not seen yet. However, there is one scene where I come and react to a tragedy at Pollos Hermanos, and I'm outside. And I felt like when I was in ADR watching the scene, because we had traffic redoing a line, that there was that I was a little bit larger than I wanted to be in my performance. And the ADR supervisor, Catherine, who's so absolutely wonderful, said, "Wait a minute." I said, "Catherine, no." And she went, "What?" I said, "I'm way too big." She said, "No, you're not. And just remember," and she reminded me. It was at least 3 or 4 months after I had finished shooting. And she said, "Remember, you're a different Gus." And I went, "Oh, that's right." So what I was thinking on the day held true, and I followed my instinct in that moment. But seeing it later, I wasn't the Gus from Breaking Bad. I was the Gus from Better Call Saul. And that made a huge difference to me, and I understood in that moment that I did it. There's always a wonder, I mean, for me as an actor, I don't want to repeat myself at all. I want to be able to find a new ground, a new territory to stand on, if it's at all possible. And I think in season 6, I know I finally made it because I felt like when I walked on the set in a couple of different scenes that I just didn't have the inner peace that I had in Breaking Bad. I didn't have the feeling that I was controlling the chaos in the same way I wanted to in Breaking Bad. And I went, "What's wrong? Why do I feel so awkward and uncomfortable?" And I went, "Oh, you're in the moment because in this moment you're not able and don't have the ability to feel the same way because it's not the same. You don't have it all figured out." And so then I realized it's okay to show me figuring it out in Better Call Saul because it'll be a very proper bookend to Breaking Bad.